All right, this is the beginning of this European Masters game. We're at the veteran table. It is Ross playing all the allies over there, Steven in the front with the white shirt playing all of the common turn, and myself playing the Axis. So far, of course, really the only major thing was in Spain. The nationalists came over and took out Eastern Andalusia, and then some mutual destruction as the Republicans attacked it back. So building up there, and then of course down here, as typical, Abyssinia fell pretty quickly. The French thought they might want to try something smart, but not having it today. Just kidding there, Ross. Other than that, nothing major in here. It is postured for a border clash over here if the Russians so choose. But other than that, nothing major on the game. The only thing to mention here is then the tech. The Axis almost went 0 for all of their tech, but the Italians were able to get improved construction, but the Allies went 3 for 3 actually on their French and Commonwealth tech, and that's how it looks right now. We'll get back to you with the game at the end of round 2. All right, so here we are at the end of turn 2. Here the nationalists went down and took Ifni, but at the cost of losing a few units they had spread out. So the Republicans are looking pretty good right now, especially because there's been no lend-lease to Spain from the Axis. Elsewhere, just the UK Navy aggregating itself in A44. The Germans keep annexing, but they haven't spent anything, so they have 45 IPP in the bank. Across the board, nothing significant. A little bit of a French and UK Navy down here. I guess the biggest thing is that this turn, the CCP hit their influence on Beiping and Hopei, so they are getting bigger, and then the KMT is buying cavalry and stacking up in Kweichow. Other than that, the Japanese are moving over to Rihe, and that's about it. A little bit of a Commonwealth army down here in Western Australia, but nothing significant. As far as tech goes, Germany's not feeling it so well as they've gone 2 for 7. Italy just got 1 for 2, and Japan did 1 for 3. Commonwealth got the best with 3 out of 4, and I guess it's actually that France has the best with 2 for 2 on getting radar, and poor Russians have not hit anything yet. But that's it for round 2. All right, we just finished turn number 3 here, and let's see where we're at. So some developments here in Spain. The nationalists are on their heels. They've got a decent-sized army there, holed up in Galicia Leon, but the Republicans are on the prowl. We'll see what ends up happening. The Italians keep on stacking Tobruk. They started an air base and built a sub-base there. But the UK brought their entire fleet into M8, well, almost their entire fleet. They did take a little bit off of Africa, probably to try to hunt that sub, and they've got a little bit they took home to a home fleet as well. And then the French fleet is hanging out over there, having some fun. The Italians are not really doing much else. The Russians are kind of doing what they do. They're posturing for Finland, posturing for Iran. Over here, I guess the biggest development is Siam hit their recruitment roll, and then the CCP went and took Shantung from the KMT, and then the KMT retreated as they tried to do a counterattack. So a little bit of a standoff, but definitely the CCP have the upper hand with an income of 8, and the KMT with an income of 4. The Japanese just have a massive army there in Rihe and just are watching to see what happens in China. And other than that, that's it. A little bit of a stack here in Malay and some other stuff going on over here in Calcutta. As far as the tech goes, it is a very sad state of affairs for the Axis. So far Japan is 1 for 5. Germany is 2 for 11, and Italy is 1 for 3. It's awful. And then the poor Russians have hit 0 for 3 as well. But instead, the Allies are continuing their rolls. They've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on 6 rolls. Pretty insane. And the French are 3 for 4. So we'll see where things go as we get into turn number 4. Cheers. All right, here we are at the end of turn number 4, about to start turn number 5, and not a whole lot, but we do see the Nationalists kind of backed into a corner, but they're pretty strong, so I don't think they'll be dislodged too soon. We still have the UK Navy in the Med, and UK keeps buying a fighter every turn and then shuttling the fighter from London to southern England, and then from southern England to Gibraltar, and then Gibraltar to Egypt. So they now have 3 fighters in Egypt. And then as we keep kind of going around the horn, not a lot going on in Russia. They're still just posturing for Iran and Finland. Their income rolls are super low. They rolled a 2 on turn 2 and a 2 on turn 4. So they really have just been kind of saving some money, not doing a whole lot. But they've been hitting all of their recruitments in Mongolia. I think they've hit 3 out of 4. So they've done pretty well. Siam did hit a recruitment. I think that was on turn 3. And Japan is really just kind of building, and you see that giant stack there in Rihi. Not much else. I think they're up to 8 cavalry there now, and let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12-ish infantry and 6 Marines, 2 more over on the island. Pretty empty over here in Anzac. Not a lot going on, but that's about it. But when it comes to tech, that's where things are really hurting. So, at least still for the Axis anyways. So now Germany managed to hit 1 more stage of heavy armor. So they're at 3 hits on 15 dice, which is just abysmal. Japan did hit both of theirs, so now they're on 3 out of 9 dice. And UK keeps rolling, so they're on stage 2 of radar and improved construction, and they've got stage 1 of long-range aircraft and improved factories already going. Russia finally hit artillery, and other than that, things are pretty quiet over here. So we'll see where things go on turn 5. Germany's been saving all their money, and so here is the German turn 5 purchase as they drop down a giant big buy. We'll see where that goes. That's it from now. Cheers. Also, we're here at the end of turn 5. And you're getting ready to start turn 6. My German friends are laughing at me for saying "also." That's okay. Turn 5 means I got 5 beers in me and I'm feeling good. So what happened on turn number 5? So here in Spain, the buildup just continues. Nice and big stack there for both sides. We'll see where that ends up going. But I guess the big news is that Italy went to war. Italy started bouncing out of East Africa, North Africa. They jumped over to French Africa, and what they did was they took southern France. So the reason why is because the Axis saw a window that the French left only 5 units in Paris in their fighters forward in Picardy and Alsace, and so if they lightning more and rail 4 units around, they can potentially take Paris with very few losses. We'll see how that works. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. We'll see what happens. Elsewhere in the world, the Russians are still posturing for Finland and for Iran. Their income at only being 8 after turn 5. We'll see what their turn 6 D6 die is. The Japanese, they still have a good-sized Rihi stack, but they moved their fleet and a good task force down here to Formosa. And more back and forth between the CCP and the KMT. They're both making 6 IPP per turn right now. So we'll see if that stalemate lasts and how well it goes. Over here, not a lot for the Anzac. The U.S. started some ports over here in Samoa, and they started another one. I just don't know where it was. It's all the way over there in Puerto Rico. And so So yeah, we'll see what the UK can do with all these fighters. They've got one here, 3 up there, attack bomber over here, medium bomber up there, another fighter up there in the northern med. They've got a lot of planes. I'm sure they're going to cause a lot of problems. But the Italians did convoy 6 off of them, so they're left with only 8 bucks left right now. But the Germans are still to go. All right. With that said, I guess tech. This is the last thing to take a look at. So the Germans finally hit advanced mechs. They also hit improved construction. Still at stage 2 for heavy armor, advanced subs at 1. They've been missing long-range aircraft the entire time. The UK, meanwhile, is on stage 2 of long-range aircraft, improved construction, radar, all the good stuff. And the French even started hitting heavy armor. I don't think they've missed yet. They're 5 for 5 on all their tech. The Russians hit advanced artillery once. That's it. So that's where we're at. We're going to call it a night and start with turn 6 tomorrow, and allow the Germans to see if they can go and take France. Off from here. Cheers.